Did Chinese archaeologists in the 1930s find evidence of some lost civilization or species of alien that crash landed on Earth long ago and intermingled with humans to survive? Chinese professor Chi Pu Tei was working at the Beijing Academy of Prehistory, also called the Academy of Ancient Studies, sometime around the 1930s. Getting word of random stone discs being found around the area of the Bayan Kara-Ula mountains, he selected a group of students and led an expedition into the regions. Once there, they found a cavern, a cave system containing perhaps one of the most important human discoveries to date. What they found could have only been described as a cavern used as some sort of prehistoric graveyard. Within it, they found at least 716 circular stone discs, 30 centimeters across, each with a hole in the center. The discs contained strange, hieroglyph-like grooves spiraling outwards. Nearby were the burials of small, frail skeletons, only about 4 feet tall with unusually large skulls. Safe to say, not typical human remains. And not only this, they also saw engravings and murals on the cave walls containing depictions of the sun, moon, and stars connected by lines of dots and figures which appeared to be wearing helmets. Professor Chi Pu Tei reportedly brought the carved stone discs back with him to his university for study. Initially, his colleagues ridiculed the find, immediately claiming this to be a hoax. Everyone, except for another colleague, Dr. Tsum Nui, took this find seriously and even took it upon himself to analyze the stone discs. Taking up the investigation at the university, taking a look and diving into the mystery for around 3 years until a breakthrough occurred. According to Dr. Tsum Nui, he had decoded one of the discs, and on it, it said, "The Dropa descended from the clouds in their plane. Our men, women, and children hid in the caves 10 times before sunrise. When at last we understood the sign language of the Dropa, we understood that the newcomers had peaceful intentions." Having potentially found artifacts depicting stories of older tribes witnessing the arrival of other beings. And not only that, but getting into contact with them, the doctor wrote an academic paper on his findings around 1962. But just as before with Professor Chi Pu Tei, his finds weren't immediately welcomed. The backlash was in fact so bad, the university refused to publish his paper, and the scientist was publicly ridiculed. After facing disgrace, Tsum Nui left China entirely on a self-imposed exile to Japan. In the 1930s, China was under the nationalist government Kuomintang, with Nanjing as the capital. The nation was politically fragmented, facing internal strife such as warlordism and communist uprisings, with external threats such as the Japanese invasion of Manchuria in 1931 and full-scale war from 1937. Universities and museums were deeply focused on national identity and cultural heritage, hence any nuanced or niche information. Theories, such as the ancient Dropa people being intermingled as a human-alien hybrid peoples, was surely to have faced large backlash at the time. Although we don't hear from the Chinese professors anymore in this story, it turns out that a few of the discs were spotted and spread out by other individuals. It turns out several resources such as German and Soviet articles claimed some of the discs were relocated to Soviet labs, specifically around Moscow. There, around the 1960s, Soviet scientist Vyacheslav Zaitsev wrote about his findings on the Dropa stones he obtained from China, adding more elements to the stones. Apparently, according to his findings, the stone discs contained metallic elements like cobalt and behaved strangely under electrical experiments, where the discs would produce humming sounds. Outside of Russia, an Austrian engineer, Ernst Wegerer, around 1974, went to China and claimed to have even seen two of the discs at a Chinese museum. At Xi'an's Banpo Museum, he saw two of the Dropa discs and took photos, even inquiring about their origin to curators and the museum's manager. And surprisingly, according to Ernst, they had no information, and during revisits, the Dropa discs were removed. Not only were the discs removed from display, the same people he spoke with were also removed. According to Ernst, this had to have been some kind of cover-up. Now that is the story of the Dropa Stones, an ancient find of Jurassic proportion that supposedly got covered up for mysterious reasons. Did the stone discs depicting aliens intermingling with humans exist? According to Dave Gavin, publisher of the book Sun Gods in Exile, an Oxford University professor took an expedition to find the Dropa people himself after studying the discs. And around 1947, that professor found their descendants and they spoke about the star maps, home star systems, and what actually happened to the original aliens that the discs contained information on. Sadly though, his book, at first claiming to be true stories, was confirmed to be a hoax by no other than the author himself. In much of the Dropa mystery, there are many people that reference these fake stories. Other UFO books, such as Hartwig Hausdorff's The Chinese Roswell, actually recycle the Oxford expedition story, actually framing it as fringe archaeology lore. And in more modern times, researcher Keith Fitzpatrick Matthews, the creator of the Bad Archaeology website, and many others go through all original accounts and do full intensive studies. Keith even found out that the Dropa people actually did in fact exist, but they are actually the Dropa people, nomads of the Tibetan ranges. Very human people that have no ties to the Dropa discs outside of living in the same areas from the discs' origins. Sadly, even Boston University archaeologists such as Bob Murrowick made it clear. Most, if not all people in the original story before Ernst, the Austrian engineer, cannot be traced, and no academic records exist of such events. Perhaps most damning of all, perhaps the discs we keep seeing are nothing more than buy discs. Buy discs can be found in museums around the world, the oldest of which date back to the Neolithic period, and they were also found in the same regions as the Dropa stone discs. And in many photos of the Dropa stone discs, it really seems as if the person found one of these ancient buy discs instead. Although it was never confirmed what their function or use was, the buy discs are 100% not alien star maps. Perhaps people such as Ernst didn't know this. When finally finding something resembling the Dropa stone's description, they mistook it for one of them. I mean, the visual similarities between the two are practically spot on, if you aren't going off the updated descriptions from literature such as Sun Gods in Exile. So, what do you guys think? An actual historical event muddied by fake tales from authors trying to cash in? Perhaps an actual cover-up of ancient history long lost? The Dropa people are in fact real, maybe previously calling themselves the Dropa and forgetting their lineage? Or is this all a hoax? Let's take a cryptid clue.